Alright traders, we're back. Check this out. We got the Brent oil here with one of the most fascinating situations we have in the market. Just a week ago, we were here marking down that qualified exhaustion gap. Remember that qualified exhaustion gap right across 69.33, and we said it looks like a legit one, and we jumped in, right? When price began to drop, even before it actually crossed 69.33, we were already on top of this, and we pulled the trigger. Now, looks like we have it again. Take a look, guys. This is amazing. It's very rare to have one of them, not to mention two. You know, one right after the other, back to back. That's phenomenal. But I want to show you what we're talking about because it's much less profound than the first one. The first one was really spectacular, you know. In it, you know, in the way, right, in the fashion, it was creating that huge gap, and then just this phenomenal day that not only, you know, closed that gap, but went far beyond. Now here we have a tiny replica, right, a tiny replication of what happened here. I want to show you. It's obviously involves a big key level, in this case the 65.15, and when price kind of edged higher, you know, in the past few days, we kind of felt that it's probably running for a retest, right? It's going for a retest on that 65.15. It's going to knock that 65.15 level, find some strong resistance, and drop back, right? Resume back to the original downside move. Because if you look at the bigger picture, then this is the formation we're following up here. We had the first move, second, third, fourth, fifth. Now we think we're on the sixth, which means we should be getting, you know, we should be reaching the lower section here. 60.48 is the very minimum level we should be expecting. So this is from the big picture, so to speak. So obviously it felt, you know, it felt right where price was edging higher. We thought, you know, just a bit of a retest here makes sense. But then something quite interesting happened. It actually gapped over 65.15. Let me close up so we can see that, right? Take a look at the close, guys. 65.009, right? That was the close. And that was last Friday. Now take a look at the open of this, you know, of this particular bar. Just yesterday, the open here is 65.62. So there was a bit of a gap, right? I mean, obviously smaller than what we had the first time, but it was a gap right across that 65.15, and it was quickly closed out at the same day, right? So it's like a replication of a mini event, similar to what we had about a week ago. So now it looks like, I mean, that gap had been closed out. Now it's all about today, because today, you know, because if you look at yesterday, right? Take a look at the close. 65.18. It actually stayed above 65.15, even though it did close that gap with a bit of a spike. At the end of the day, it stayed above by fraction of a point, right? 0.3 points basically. So it's really important that price will make it by the end of the day, because if it's not going to make it, it's going to be a bit suspicious, and we might consider to actually pull out. We're still here. We're still having that short position because our target was 60.48, right? We took some profit off the table at 65.15, but final destination right from the get-go was 60.48. So if price cannot prove to break, you know, to stay below 65.15, that might be a sign to get out. But I want to show you something else. I want to show you the weekly chart. Because if you look at last week, right? I mean, a couple of weeks ago, price did break for the first time. 65.15 came with a weekly confirmation. Last week, I want to show you price came back, right? So that the classic retest we were looking on the daily chart actually came on the weekly price action. Take a look at the closing price on that week, guys. 65.08, right? So it stayed below, which makes the case that price is still below, effectively speaking. 65.15, it never crossed back above that level, even though it gapped over that level, right? But it never closed, especially not a weekly bar above 65.15. So that's very bearish. That's the interpretation. All right. So yeah, we're gonna watch the how the event's gonna unfold here on the Brent oil very, very closely. And for now, we're gonna carry on with our short position, and we'll be back, of course, to follow up and let you know how things have been working for us here. All right, that's about that for this one. Brent oil still looking pretty bearish. That's about it for today. Have a nice trading day, guys. We'll be back tomorrow. See you. Bye-bye.